name's Annie Sloan.
And I'm Tristan Merriam.
And this is The Colourist,
a podcast about colour and its influence on our lives. So this episode, we're going to be exploring your colour, Athenian Black, and the inspiration behind it.
Yeah.
First of all, let's discuss briefly the colour itself. I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
Well,
black.
I will just say that I have graphite, which is a sort of a black, but when you compare the two, Athenian Black is a lot heavier. So graphite, which is stupid to be talking about it in a way, but graphite, if you take a pencil, a sort of soft pencil, and you make lots of markings on with it, you will get a sort of a dark grey black, which I love. It's a beautiful colour. And so it would be a very soft pencil. This is completely different because it is a pure black. And I did it because of two reasons. One, I just felt the need for a black. And I wanted a black which is quite modern, which is a bit weird because my inspiration for it is not modern at all.
No. And I'd never really considered a modern black, a traditional black. Surely black's black?
There are millions.
Apart from graphite, which I appreciate is not black.
There are lots of blacks.
Are
Because black is, actually traditionally there were two blacks, carbon black and lamp black. So charcoaly black, which is a sort of, again,
bit softer,
graphite-y colour, which is beautiful. And the other one is lamp black, which was from the soot. And that so one is more blue and one is more black. One is more of a colder colour, and graphite is a softer, slightly browner colour.
So you wanted, sorry, I kind of got carried away with the different blacks then.
Yeah.
You wanted a sort of a contemporary black.
Yes.
To be in the range.
Yeah, I very much needed that. It was about the time when mid-century modern started coming through, and you needed that really strong colour. So I did that, but in fact, what it started making me think about was actually a very old black.
Which is where the name comes in.
And
we know your colours all have this beautiful history behind them and well-considered names. So tell us about the name Athenian Black.
Okay, well, I'll start, before I tell you the name, I'm going to start with where I live. I live in Oxford, in England, and we have one of the most wonderful museums, old museums. It's called the Ashmolean Museum, and it's in Oxford, and it started actually as a cabinet of curiosities.
Ooh.
And those words I love, a cabinet of curiosities.
Well, it immediately makes you want to go there and explore. And
there's still a room there where you can go in and you can see all the little bits and pieces that Ashmole, the man who started it, collected. And he collected all sorts of odd bits and pieces. It's a bit like, as a child, I think we've all wanted to have a museum ourselves. I mean, I did. And I collected things that were in my museum. So it might be a really gorgeous stone. I love.
It's absolute. I mean, I'm thinking about my children at home and the random collection, paraphernalia of objects. But you're creating your own little space
museum,
in your museum
that you love, your things that you found special. So it might be a little bit of china that you found in the garden. I'm thinking of my grandchildren, and they've got little things like
little
that.
Fossils and stones, shells, anything. Anyway.
So that's a little bit, was a slightly grander idea that he had, but they were very random objects. Anyway, that's the beginning of the Ashmolean. And so it's still got that sort of slight randomness about it, which I think is fabulous. And it's in a beautiful building, and I've been going there since I've lived in Oxford. And one of the great rooms or great collections they've got is Greek pottery.
Right.
And it's particularly, they have an amazing collection of Athenian pottery. That is pottery from Athens.
Yeah, I mean, I think lots of people would think, is that name must come from Athens? And it does.
It does. Athens, Athenian Black, Athenian pottery. And so they've got this great collection. And like all collections of stuff, there's a certain randomness. And I would just go there, and they have wonderful things, and it's incredibly inspiring, I think, because this pottery are bowls and vases, all sorts. The drawings on them. If you don't know maybe I should explain what a Greek vase
pottery is. Yeah, exactly.
So they've just got loads of drawings on them, paintings on them.
So they loved pottery.
They pottery.
Loved those vessels or those vases as a means of displaying artwork on and telling stories.
And stories, yeah. I mean, it's quite odd when you think about it, but I suppose this is also what's left, and that's what we've got. It's this ancient Greek. And the designs on them, sometimes they're really perfectly gorgeous and very highly skilled people have painted and drawn on them. But there's also the very simple ones.
Which you're drawn to, I imagine. Well,
I'm always drawn to those, actually. And they're obviously very good at observational things as well. And there's two things I love about them. One is sometimes they are painted designs, and sometimes they are sgraffito. So if anybody knows what sgraffito is, it's a great favourite of mine. I do quite modern things, but I've also done the old thing. So sgraffito is scratching.
So it's scratching into paint.
Yes. Yeah. Or what this would have been pottery slip.
Okay.
So
yes.
The colour. Yeah. So they would have had. They did it both ways, but you could have a terracotta pot, and you put the black slip on it, and then you scratch away the design so that you see the terracotta orangey colour underneath.
So really, it's two-tone.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
slight variation here and there, but it would be the black, and then this usually the undercolour, which is a terracotta, earthy pigment from the clay.
And there's lots of different ways they also did it. They also painted on it, and they also sometimes put little white dots as well, but it's all slip. And they also, I think, did the other way around. It was a black pot, which I'm not sure how that works, but a black pot which they painted the red on. But I love the black pot with the red drawing on it. Actually, I love it all, but...
Yes. And tell us about sgraffito in terms of using your paint. And we've got a lot to talk about with this colour, but let's stick on the sgraffito.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you would, if you were using chalk paint, you would paint a coat or two of your base colour.
Yep.
And if you wanted to do it in this sort of style, you might use paprika red, Scandinavian pink, an earthy kind of tone.
Yeah.
But you could use any colour, the same applies.
Yep.
You would let that dry. Then you would paint on a coat of black, in this instance, Athenian black, but again you could do it with any colour. And then you would use a sharper tool, like the end of a paintbrush or something scratchy.
Something, I mean, if you want to be quite accurate, then you need something a little bit more pointy. And
like I think a
cocktail stick, or even...
Toothpick.
I think I used the end of a compass.
Yeah,
a metal compass. And so you can be really quite delicate.
And you're doing that whilst the paint is wet, freshly painted, or do you leave it a little bit of time?
Yeah, a little bit of time. If you do it fresh, you'll get a softer edge. And I wanted on mine looking a little bit more like those Greek pottery, so I left it to a little bit drier.
And we've got a table that you've painted here between us.
Yeah.
And the top has been done in this style.
Yeah.
And what I love, because usually I see with sgraffito, it's quite simple block patterns and shapes. Whereas this, I'm captivated by because whilst you've only got two colours there, the black and the undercolour, you've managed to create depth and shading through different pressures, I guess, of applying and scratching, and it becomes a painting in its own right.
Yeah.
When you think about that, it's only two colours.
Only two colours.
So simple.
Yeah. I mean, I do love it. You'll see it. I'm going to post it on my page, Annie Sloan's Instagram, and so you can see it. Quite difficult to take photographs of, unfortunately, but anyway, you can see it.
Yeah, but it's that idea of creating something without dipping into 10 different colours, and you're just creating it. It's almost like a sketch, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then you end up with this lovely depth.
I mean, it is quite difficult to draw into because I did find it a bit annoying, and I got myself a line which I didn't want, but then it was seamed that I couldn't remove it. So there's a lump on this drawing, which I can see, no one else can, but I find, annoying. But
so quite an unforgiving.
It's a little
style?
bit unforgiving, yeah, and but don't let that put you
No,
off.
I am desperate to have a go
Yeah.
now at doing this style of sgraffito, which is a bit more.
It's tighter.
Yes. Yeah,
More
exactly.
detailed.
Yeah,
and
more
tighter.
detailed. That's
yeah.
it.
And what I was actually doing was I found a piece at the Ashmolean, and it's just a very simple bowl. I mean, it could be now sold in a shop, and no one would think it's old.
No.
It just looks very modern, beautiful, open shape. And I basically copied it. I tried to copy it as much as I could. So I took a photograph of it, and drew it as it was. What I've done is make a circle around it, which wasn't there. Of course,
Gives
it was
it
just
a
a bowl. Yeah, to give it a shape.
So I did notice when I was doing some research that part of the process of the sgraffito and the application of the slip and all of that kind of thing, they then used to urinate on some of the pieces before firing them.
I forgot to tell you
So
about
I
that.
was about to... Did you do the same with this table? Were you
Always.
authentically Greek?
Always.
Nice. Isn't it
Nice.
weird? I mean, I wonder how they discovered that works, you know.
But urine was used a lot, you know,
Okay.
in a lot of building, because our house in France, they used,
Urinated all over that as well?
I don't know what was human urine, but
gosh,
it was
we've gone off on a tangent. Why? What's good about urine?
it sets, and also urea is used in dyes. I mean, come
oh gosh,
on.
okay, next episode is definitely urine.
Yeah, tweed.
You bring out a paint.
Tweed is used. Yes,
gosh.
they did. Yeah, so
Okay, well, I've started this off now. But anyway, so going back to the Ashmolean, how many pieces do they have that show Athenian pottery? If people want to go and see this...
there's loads and loads. Yeah, there's enough there. And actually, probably quite a lot of galleries around the world will have a little bit. But, I mean, my connection is that it is the Ashmolean. But, I mean, anywhere you go,
I think
I'm
that's
sure
lovely.
that you'll find something there.
And if people
not
wanted
photograph.
to search it on the internet, they would look for Athenian pottery?
I think Athenian pottery would be good, but classic Greek pottery will also help you find lots and lots of imagery.
Inspiration. And what sorts of stories were they trying to portray in the artwork on these vases and bowls and objects?
Well, really great, because they used to have things like, it could be a simple story of just an athlete. So there's this wonderful athlete who's running along, naked of course, with a hoop and stick to push along. But very beautifully and carefully done, really inspiring. Or there could be the story of a god doing some sort of thing that I've got another one that I gave to somebody and made somebody. It was a god or a man anyway, fighting a lion or a
So it's
tiger or
war
something.
stories,
Yeah.
military.
Yeah.
It's ways of them showing their life.
Their life, yeah.
Very normal life,
yeah.
day-to-day life, or grander ceremonies and events.
Acrobats. Lots of stories of gods and what have you.
This would be a great... I'm just going back to my teaching days now. This would be a fantastic art/English lesson. If you
would.
showed people, or children in this case, images and then write a story, create the whole narrative behind it. Because that's what they're really doing, these pieces of art.
Yeah.
You can see it coming to life.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, I'm thinking of a film... I don't know what it is now. Maybe it's Moana with his tattoos and they come to life in the cartoon, and it's sort of...
Wow.
You imagine an image of the acrobats being animated and coming into its own. You can very clearly see that story, I think. Good storytellers.
Good storytellers, very good
Through
storytellers.
artwork.
And of course, that was where the stories were told. There were also lots of plays and all the rest of it. So stories must have been an important part of ancient Greece.
And these objects, the ones like that are in the Ashmolean, they would be in the very wealthy homes Or would this
Well,
be quite a normal part of life?
I think it depends on what we're talking about, because some of the things, and I'll post those on the page, they're very loosely and sort of badly done. I mean, they're funny faces. There's also lots of rude ones.
Ooh.
So I think these would have been, I think they went right through.
Okay.
And so the very beautiful ones that I'll show you, and probably my bowl, or those ones with the acrobats I'll show you, those would probably be more expensive. I don't know.
So it's like anything in life. You get a cheaper version and a more expensive elite version. Yeah. Okay, and the colour itself. So these, when I was reading, it said it was a very glossy black, a glossy finish, reminiscent of the pottery. Yeah, and I was thinking, okay, if you wanted to replicate that style on furniture or on vases, which we know you can paint with chalk paint and upcycle and do that kind of thing.
Or haven't ever done that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I could have a bowl, a lamp base, and paint it. Oh,
in that style. And you obviously, we've told you the colour, Athenian Black, and an earthy tone underneath, which there are several. But for the finish, would you use, if you wanted it to be kind of exactly as it was, your gloss lacquer?
So I didn't do lacquer. I did wax, and I just waxed it and waxed it and waxed it. So I did several layers and polished it up. So I've done this table, or it's a stool. It's actually an IKEA stool.
Oh gosh, doesn't look like it anymore.
I know, it's great. I'm very proud of that fact. I love the idea of taking something IKEA and then changing it. I've just waxed it and polished and waxed and polished it, and it's still shiny.
I see. So when it's referred to as being glossy in ancient Greek times, that actually isn't high gloss like we know today.
No,
it's more of a lovely sheen.
A mellow sheen.
Sheen.
This is quite a mellow sheen. I mean, it's depends on I've got the light on it, and it's really quite shiny.
But that's how you'd achieve that look.
Yeah.
Layers of wax,
and then
a couple of days in between each layer.
A couple of days. Polish. Really polish it.
Nice. Well, let's do it. Let's do it on lamp bases or some old urns. Everyone knows you can find them anywhere.
Yeah.
And they've often got a beautiful shape, but a horrible design on them.
Yeah,
and that can be changed. We can do that. Yeah. Okay, so it's safe to say that Athenian Black was really inspired by the Ashmolean and all of this pottery. Yeah. And I think let's touch upon where you live, being in Oxford, because that we've mentioned many places in Oxford that have had a big impact for you. And I think it's amazing that you live in a place, well, it's destiny, I suppose, but you live in a place which is surrounded by beautiful museums and history, and that plays a big part of what you do.
Yes, and probably what made me decide, we lived in London, and then we had to decide where we were going to go, and Oxford, where London is too difficult to live in, I thought. And so I came to Oxford because I thought it has everything. It has lots of galleries and it's lots of gorgeous.
So, tour guide Annie, if you were coming to Oxford for a day, maybe that's too hard, maybe 2 days, a day and a night in a hotel somewhere, what would be your kind of few, one hand, main places to visit for inspiration linked to, everything we talk about, colour and art and history of art?
So I would definitely go to the Ashmolean, without a doubt. Loads of stuff there, all different times and periods. I would also go to the Museum of Modern Art, and depending what's happening, that's another great art gallery. Then there is also the Christchurch. So there's lots of colleges in Oxford making up the university, and one of them is Christchurch. And Christchurch has got a really wonderful gallery of old masters, basically. It's quite small, but very beautiful and lovely, so I would definitely go there. Lots of the colleges, in their chapels, have got some great art, so Rubens, goodness knows what else, amazing. Then there's another couple of places which absolutely do it for me, and the other one is the Pitt Rivers Museum, which is amazing. It's what would be called an ethnographical museum, so it's full of totem poles from India, Africa, China, wherever, stuff from all over the place. So talk about a cabinet of curiosities. The Pitt Rivers is absolutely a cabinet of curiosities. It's probably my favourite museum ever in the whole wide world.
Big statement.
Oh,
Well, if you're thinking of diversifying this business, you could start your own tours of Oxford.
Yeah.
Annie's tours. Get a bus. I'll be the driver. Vinny can come and, we can
yeah.
get
Well, Vinny's
sandwiches
lived
for
here all
everyone.
his life.
Yeah.
And don't you absolutely love
The Pitt Rivers is
Pitt Rivers.
outstanding.
It's outstanding.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I come here so often to
You
do
should
this
go.
and
You
be at the
really
warehouse,
should.
and actually, I never come to Oxford, so we need to sort that out.
You really need
Take
to
me
go.
to see all the lovely
Yeah.
places.
Oh, and galleries. I mean, all the colleges.
Yeah.
All the colleges are incredible because they go from medieval to 18th century to really, really modern. So it's 20th century one as well. So it's full of wonderful things.
But it's I wanted to touch upon it because it Oxford crops up a lot in these podcasts, in
Yeah.
these episodes. It
Yeah.
often comes into your inspiration.
Oh, that's
and I
interesting.
think it is interesting that that's where you've chosen to live.
Yeah.
And that's obviously why, because it's a very inspiring place.
Yeah, yeah. And my husband studied here. So
Yeah,
that
and he was at one of
nice.
these.
He was at
campuses.
Corpus.
Yeah, there we are. I thought
Corpus
so
Christi.
when you said that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. So if we go back to black, we've spoken about it in terms of its inspiration and how you came up with the name Athenian Black. Let's talk about black furniture firstly, and then moving on to black interiors. So black on furniture and black in interiors. And being quite a contemporary thing, I think. When you Google black furniture or painted black furniture, it often is very contemporary, the imagery you get coming up.
Yeah, and that was the very first thought I had. Got to make something
Needs it.
modern. Need it. And also, I love a black room. I think it's amazing. And of course, black sounds as though you're going to be talking about some teenage angst kid with, well, I want
We've
it
all
black.
had that phase, haven't we? I want to paint my room black. No, you're not allowed. But if it's done well, it can be super
But it is
brilliant.
super, super cool.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. Because anything you put on it just comes to life. And it's got a richness and a beauty to it that is really, really fabulous. So I think that's another... So we have a wall paint, which is Athenian Black.
Great.
And it is beautiful. In fact, I painted a whole wall, and then we did the fireplace, big wooden fireplace, in white.
Yeah.
So it's just
Timeless.
black and white.
Completely timeless.
Yep.
But you can combine it with a few paintings on the walls or
Yeah.
vases and pops of colour,
Yeah.
and it takes on a whole different, more eclectic.
So you would be so happy with the way that paintings look on that colour. It just brings them out. And you can have loads and loads of colour as well with it. It's brilliant.
So it's an integral colour in the range. It was needed. It
Absolutely.
came and it was definitely
Yeah.
needed. And
Yeah.
I think what's brilliant about it is people can use it in so many ways. But you've got to get out of your head of thinking, oh, black, that's very oppressive.
It's not.
It is a dark colour, obviously, but it's not when you combine it with other colours, for example, white,
Yes.
and other colours on the walls, it becomes something completely different.
And let me just talk about how in the past black was about mourning, and so you'd wear clothes that were black, and people would go, if you're wearing black, you're obviously in mourning. And I think people are still connected to that. But in fact, in real life, I'm not quite dressed in black, but we often all are dressed in black. And it's nothing to do with mourning, and no one would think that now. So, we need to get that idea away. Black is not mourning. And so, embrace it, use it in your interiors. It is wonderful.
And if you're painting a piece of furniture, Athenian Black, and you're wanting to bring some colour in, what different ways are there? So if you use the brighter colours, what sort of looks that going to give that piece? Black and say Capri Pink or Antibes or something very, very bright. That'll give quite a comic book kind
very
of look.
strong, very comic-y, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, for myself,
Pop art, that's what I was
pop
thinking
art.
of.
I think you might do that, and you could do that really, really well. I think the idea of pop art is a very lovely idea. So it's the comic book and all the
Yeah.
rest of it. But I would tend to do it with softer colours. Just because I think it's got a rather interesting vibe to it. So they're not contrasting, they're not
No.
up against
Whereas
each
they
other.
would be with the pop art. It's very in your face. And when I was searching, just in readiness for talking today, the main images that came up were that pop art bright black with a bright pink or a bright yellow or something, bright orange. And I struggled to find, briefly, I didn't give it much time, to find more subtle colours being combined with black. It tends to be very strong.
Yes, yeah. I don't know what there is, but my feeling is I'd like to do it with some creamy colours, some soft greens, and see where it takes me. But that's the look I have, which I haven't done.
No.
So many things to do.
Oh no, we always say come away full of ideas after this, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's interesting because it would also make black a little less scary for people who might consider painting a piece of furniture black.
Yes.
Quite dramatic.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, because sometimes it just recedes into the background.
That's right.
If it's darker. So it's actually the opposite of what people think it will do.
I sometimes find it interesting when I'm cleaning the brushes, the black brushes, all of the colours that
come out of it.
And it feels like that's like, oh wait, so you could use that, or it's like an aubergine, or it's like a deep red, deep brown that goes.
Nice thought.
What, when you're cleaning the pigments, you mean?
I'll explain that Vinny not only does the podcast and does all the recording and editing and doing all my films, he's also got the wonderful job of being my brush cleaner, brush washer. I think he's very lucky. And he's very good at it. And I think you're right. It is really, really fascinating.
It's amazing.
And do you mean the pigments that come out of the black paint? Yeah.
Specifically the black is...
It's like if you water black paint down and you leave it for a little too long, you start to see the colours coming through. And you're absolutely right. There's like a purple tone to it. That's interesting. So that's what's in your paint. Yes. Which we won't divulge.
No, but nothing is simple, and just to put black in it is not going to work.
No.
You've got to put other colours in it. And I've got a rug on the floor here, which is really interesting because it's got a black background. It slightly looks blue, but there are some wonderful colours on it.
And don't they dance on top of that?
And they just do, but they're not pop arty.
No.
It's actually a folk rug from Romania, I think it was. And there's pale blues, pale grey, pinky, purpley colours. There are turquoisey colours. There's some soft blues. So I think we should photograph this as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very strong but soft at the same time.
It is, yeah. Just like me. Don't laugh. And we haven't even touched on Japan. So Japan and black and lacquer work and their prints, it's everywhere. But I don't think, I think we're going to stick to Athens because I think my mind
you could have taken so many different angles with naming this one, and we've done our episode on Empress Silk already, and it kind of goes hand in hand with black.
A little bit, yeah. Well, some said to me, you've only got 50-something colours, or whatever it is we've got now. How are you going to keep going? Because you're going to do... you're going to carry on with the podcast, yes. And what I'm going to do is revisit some of the colours and look at them from a different angle, different place. So
because they are multi-faceted in that way.
Yeah, and I might have named something, but I was aware of the background, but it's also that. So it would always be a colour that I thought had lots of possibilities. Anyway,
that has been black, Athenian black, and I think it is really inspiring. It makes me certainly want to go away and explore this colour, but also the techniques we've discussed through the pottery of sgraffito. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Next episode, we are having a complete break away from black and one colour, actually, because we are talking all about...
Christmas!
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, yeah. Sorry.
Yes, but it's got to be done. It's coming up for that time of year, and we're going to be talking all about your Christmas campaign, the colours that you've chosen, the artist who has inspired that, which we won't say anything more about, other than we hope you'll tune in and listen to it.
Exactly, because, yes, it's all a big secret. So I should have said, when I said I'm sorry Christmas, I didn't mean that, because obviously Christmas is a wonderful time of the year, and I'm extremely excited about what we're going to do. So we'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, keep an eye on our socials to visualise what we've been discussing and see some of these examples, like Annie's beautiful rug here and the piece of furniture. But we will see you next time.
So goodbye, and thank you very much for listening.